Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I want to go back in time. And I want to talk about when we hatched chicks, and I just want to kind of summarize and talk about the things that I noticed, the experience that we went through, what it was like hatching chicks for the first time with our little guys. We had 2 little kids at the time. They were 3 years old and 1 year old, so they were quite small, but I was very eager to become the crazy chicken lady, so we just went for it. We've only had our chickens for 1 year, and they're so integrated in our life, in our lifestyle. Like, they really complete who we are as a family. I just don't really think that we are the Bakers without chickens now. Give him a little kiss. Aww. Looking back, I'm so grateful for this chick hatching experience and the sweet memories that are with it, with the kids, like watching the eggs and waiting, and then like the thrill of the first chick hatching. It was like so cute. It's all wet. What color is this one?
Black.
Black.
Daddy, black and yellow.
We got a black and a yellow one.
Now the first dump truck.
And then once they were hatched, just endless hours watching them eat, watching them sleep, watching them grow. And they grow fast.
They're not watching.
They're relaxing, honey. Okay? They're just
Wow,
relaxing.
look at them. What are you doing now?
They saying hi, Linky? Hi, chickies.
Give it another kiss there. Oh, what a cute kiss. He's like, does it come with fries?
I think that maybe at this age, their kids always like that.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah.
We hatched our chicks in the spring, in March to be exact, and by fall, so September, they were fully grown chickens. They were already laying their first eggs, so essentially, you only have like super adorable fluffy chicks for 2 weeks. As soon as they hatch, like I'm telling you, you gotta capitalize on that time and invite friends over, invite other kids over to meet chicks, because they don't stay fluffy for very long. It's a very short window where they're fluffy and adorable, and then all of a sudden they're like tween chickens, where they're like getting their feathers in, and they kind of look scrawny and ugly and kind of gangly.
You told her happy is.
Yeah. Then they just like lose that cuteness appeal, and I think people don't realize how fast that time goes. Like, it's crazy fast. I wish I could do it again.
Ew, I don't get poop on me. Then you have to wash my hands.
That's right. My favorite parts about having chicks and doing the whole chicken hatching experience, first off, was like getting to actually meet the parents of our chicks. I think instead of just like ordering eggs, I went online onto an online community. I got to meet another chicken person, and I got to meet the parents of our future chicks, which was super cool. And the kids got to meet them. We got to see how big they actually are going to get, and have a resource to reach out to as well. So that was really neat. The whole chicken thing, like, I grew up on a farm, so this is old news to me. I totally know what I'm doing. I know what to expect. We've ordered chicks in the mail, so like I've seen baby chicks, you know, lots of my life growing up. But this whole like chicken thing is brand new for my kids and my husband too. This is a whole new world.
Say hello to the girls. Them girls need some food.
It was really cool just to be part of the whole incubation process. You know, in the past I had gotten chicks in a box in the mail. They just show up, which is like magic. So being part of actually the incubation process where you have an egg and you get to, you know, shine the light on it and check to see if it's fertilized, and then actually seeing how long it takes for a chick to hatch, it really brought out a lot of the love for science in me, the love for zoology and biology, and I really want to foster that love in my kids. Look at our pretty eggs. Oh, aren't they pretty? Okay, so now where to put them? I don't know, I'm just kind of putting them in.
That's a Mr. Frog.
Mr. Sloth is watching the temperature, which we had some drama in the night. Right, Mr. Sloth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 30 minutes. He can put the water.
You say 100 degrees.
100 degrees.
That's a perfect temperature for the chickies.
Down. Ah!
And ultimately, it was so cool that we actually hatched something. Out of 12 eggs, 3 of them hatched.
Look who Tommy is. Look, he's so tall.
He's so calm, isn't he, honey?
Look. Look. Mommy,
Yeah, put him down.
he's turning brown.
Oh, be nice, Lincoln. Let go.
Mommy, he's turning brown.
Yeah. Hold him steady. Hold his. Yeah, there you go. Good boy. There you go. You got him. Oh, let him walk off.
And it was really cool to see how much our kids like utterly adored interacting with the chicks. Lyric was so sweet, making sweet promises to them, and just other little kids, like they remember coming over to our house, interacting with the chicks, and then when they come over they ask what happened to the chicks. And lastly, my favorite part about this is that I now have my productive pets. We get eggs consistently and we get to eat them, says Lyric.
I really get to eat them. I really get to eat them. I really get to eat them. I almost touched him.
Squishy.
You poke it. Yeah, so it's really squishy because the chickens don't have layers mash. So they need like oyster shells or like a shell kind of mash that'll make the outside nice and hard. But this is our first
Yeah, wash your hands.
squishy. Oh yeah, don't break it. Don't break it. Don't break it. Oh, Lyric, I said.
There it goes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so that's what happens with your first eggs if they don't have a hard shell on them.
My pointers that I want to point out about chickens is that they are very dusty. So even as baby chicks, as soon as they were born, they were accumulating dust and it just attracted to them. And I feel like we had them in the house while they were really little for the kids to have lots of interaction time with them. And there was crazy amounts of dust around them. And it just like, it didn't matter how much I like vacuumed and like tried to suck it up, like they're just little dust makers. My second pointer is that they grow really fast. I've already mentioned it. You got to capitalize on it when they're really small and enjoy that time because it's gone so fast. So be aware that the window of having chicks is a very short window. I mean, it's kind of like an analogy for children. Like they say that, you know, your kids are not kids, they grow up so fast. They spend more time as an adult in adult life than they do as a child. So enjoying that childlike innocence. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this. Some kind of analogy between enjoying your chicks while they're small and enjoying your children while they're little too. My third pointer is that with the whole incubation process, you know, we were really worried about like trying to be right in the range. Like I took analytical chemistry, so like you had to be like so close to the mark that if you messed up, like your potion was done. This incubation process, like it's within a range. Being within a range is totally okay. And you don't have to be like bang on. And I spent a lot of time tracking it and making sure it was like minute and like super accurate and like really trying to get perfect numbers in terms of like the temperature and the humidity. But that ultimately is like just a range. And if you think about it, I liked it best said that in real life, a chicken will get up off the eggs to go have water, to go eat, to go to the bathroom. So like a mother hen, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to get most of it done. The other thing I didn't know about is that chickens are social animals. It's not good to only have one chick. And it's not good to only have one chicken either. There's a reason that the city bylaw is that you minimally have to have 3 chickens. They are social creatures. And I've heard it said same thing with baby chicks. We actually were fortunate. We got 1 extra baby chick from the person that sold the eggs to us. And she said that they just happened to hatch only 1, and you can't have 1 all by itself. So, I mean, we reap the rewards there. But if you only hatch 1, it's not going to be really healthy for it, is my understanding. We were lucky. We had exactly 3 chicks hatch. And then later some chicken math came in and was involved, and I ended up getting more. But that's a whole nother story. Main point is chickens are social. So I want to talk about how do we find our eggs and the incubator and a brooder. So there's lots of things that you need to consider before just jumping in and saying you want to, hatch an egg. What we did first was I went online, and I think there's tons of great resources out there, and I joined a local Facebook community group, and I also looked at the city website and the requirements that would be associated with keeping backyard chickens. I went through all of that. I took courses. And I would highly recommend, obviously doing your research before you jump into something like this, but it is so worthwhile. Then I looked at what it would look like to hatch your own chicks. I know about being able to order chicks, and I know that you can buy full-grown chickens, but I wanted to give that experience of hatching chicks to my children. So I went to the local group, and there's tons of people selling eggs, crazy amounts of, you could buy this breed or that breed and whatever you want. So I picked the Orpington, which was highly recommended when I took a chicken course, was to go with this breed, the Orpington. It's a winter hardy bird. It's typically not very flighty, and it's supposed to be very friendly, so very family orientated. It is a big bird. We have one out there, and her name is Vader, and she's the biggest of the bunch. I don't even know if she's a bully, but she is huge, and she probably could demolish the other ones. We went to this online community. I picked Orpington, and I went to this lady that was near our area, and I was asking her about incubating and what that would look like. And you totally can, if you find the right person, incubate eggs, pay for that process, and then send back the chicks. You don't have to keep them, is my understanding, but obviously you don't check around.
They're pretty curious about you too.
Wow, they're big. They
are big. It's a good breed though.
I love
they're
them.
Pretty friendly and stuff, and even the rooster, he doesn't give me any trouble.
Really?
And then the process all started when we got to go meet her, and she'd fill me in that ultimately she would rent me an incubator and sell me the eggs, and whatever hatched I got to keep. And then I would just return the incubator. So it was super low cost for me because I didn't have to go out and buy an incubator and worry about trying to set it up or whatever. She gave me the lowdown, sent me a PDF with all the info, and I was able just to basically plug in and go, which was fantastic. So yeah, the rental of the incubator was the real key for what made this work for me. In terms of the brooder, which is the area the chicks are going to go into when they're kind of in that in-between stage, they can't go outside because it's too cold, and they need to be kind of kept warm. So you have them under a red light because the white light is too stimulating. So you have them under a red heat lamp, basically. And we used an old lizard cage.
They're not watching.
They're relaxing, honey. Okay, they're just
Wow, look
relaxing.
at them.
I know you can go out and you can buy fancy brooders, and I'm all for that. My brother had a lizard, and I had the cage with no lizard in it, so it got turned into a brooder for a short time. The chicks obviously outgrew it really fast, but it was perfect because it was a nice glass case. The kids could look but not touch, and I had basically used a sheet pan and hooked up the heat lamp to it with clamps, and it was I feel kind of like red-green, almost duct tape style, but it stayed and it was fine. And then we had to build a barricade around it because my 1-year-old, I really didn't want him touching or anywhere near the heat lamp.
What do you see?
From the lizard cage brooder, we then moved them into a giant storage tub that I just left open, and it was just a bigger area. I didn't want to send the chicks outside quite yet. Their feathers weren't all in yet. I still wanted the kids to play with them because they were still like really fun. So I moved them to this larger storage tub setup, again with the sheet pan and the clamps and the heat lamp, but I would just move the heat lamp up continuously, so they're basically getting less heat as they grew, so that they would get acclimatized to regular temperature. And then from there, I still wasn't ready to put them outside. So we moved them onto our sun deck, which is basically an enclosure which is still susceptible to the temperature but not the elements. So we put them out there, eliminated the heat lamp, and instead put in basically a TV heater, and they were allowed to like come and go from it as they needed. And I really love the heater. I still use it. If you check out my chickens in the winter video, I talk about that in there.
Checking them out, Lakers? Uh-oh.
So yeah, we basically used the biggest box that we could find through somebody. It ended up being a giant filter box from a family member's work, which was fantastic. And as you can see, Lincoln was like just the right height that he couldn't like reach in and be the claw anymore. Like he had to ask if he wanted to hold a chicken. So it was kind of ideal because they were starting to like get really annoyed that he constantly wanted to play with them, but it was still really cute how much they would go out on the sun deck and they would just stare over the edge of the box and like look at the chickens and talk about them. It was really cute.
Oh, let go of him, Lincoln. Let go. You got one?
I could have moved them outside in a lot sooner, but because I wanted the kids to have that extra exposure with them when they were little, in the hopes that the chickens would become like really friendly, then this is kind of the transition steps that we ended up doing.
Good job, you rounded them up.
At the time when we hatched chicks, Lyric was 3 years old and Lincoln was 1. So I was on a really topsy-turvy sleep schedule anyways, which actually worked out in my favor. Lincoln would be up at 3 in the morning. So I'd get up and I'd go check on the incubator since I was awake anyways. Having kids around this process though, ultimately in hatching chicks, there were things that I really wanted to teach them. I realized that they're small and things like the biology element of it are probably beyond them. But having chicks, and having the incubation process, I wanted to teach them things like patience, gentle hands, caring for someone or something, especially something smaller than you, and to be careful around a hot item that's not the stove. I was a little worried with Lyric, thinking that, we have these eggs and they have babies in them, that it would turn him off of like eating eggs in the future, or he would associate all eggs that they would have babies in them, or that he would be weirded out eating chicken later because we're like raising chickens to be our pets. It's like eating your pet kind of thing. But he ended up being totally fine, and we ended up actually having really great conversations and talking about that. So it was a really great way to expose him to, this is chicken that we eat, and these are the chickens that are our pets, and this is why, and this is what we believe. And I just thought it was a really great way to open that conversation, and it was very real because he literally had chicks in front of him. Those questions did totally come up, and it was a great opportunity to dive deeper into those topics. I would say the ultimate problem with Lincoln at his age of being 1 was creating a barricade that would hold him back. I really wanted to prevent him from, touching the brooder and touching the heat lamp. So we ended up using one piece, the kind of the footrest piece of the sectional, as like the main barricade, and like this other chair. So we basically cornered in the brooder and all the stuff with the chicks, and just to prevent him from going in there. And that was how we did it, because he couldn't climb over it. But as soon as he figured out how to throw his leg over and climb over, it was like game over. Those chicks gotta move. It was hard because his brother is a little older, so he got more privileges, he got more time with the chicks, and I was just kind of restraining Lincoln sometimes and preventing him. But at the end of the day, it is learning, and we didn't lose any chicks due to handling issues. So, that's a plus.
My mother showed us dirty feet.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content and me expressing my love and all the things that I loved about having chicks and hatching them, as well as my thoughts and feelings about what kind of came about when we were doing the whole process and what that looked like, maybe to give you some ideas and tips for yourself if you ever consider hatching chicks yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If you're considering chickens, check out our Chickens in the City playlist. I have all of my tips, tricks, our coop building, tips for the winter care and just basic care, all covered in that playlist. So check it out.